In section 4.1 we are going to talk about exponents. Right here, this right here is called a power. The power is made up of two different pieces. The bigger piece here is called the base, and then the smaller piece here is the exponent. Now, the base is the factor that is being multiplied. The exponent is how many times that factor is going to be multiplied by itself. So a to the fifth means I'm going to multiply a times a times a times a times a times a 5 times. So the base a is my factor, and the exponent is how many times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 it is going to be multiplied. Now in example 1, they're just going to ask you to write it in exponential form. So what that means is they want you to use an exponent if possible with the variables. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the associative and commutative properties of multiplication to reorder these and regroup them. So right here I'm going to take the two numbers and multiply them together, so -4 times 2. And then I'm going to take all the r's and multiply them together, 1, 2, 3. And then I am going to take both the s's and multiply them together, s times s. And now I'm just going to go ahead and simplify that using exponents. -4 times 2 is going to be -8. R times R times R is R to the third. And then S times S is S to the third, or S to the second. Alright, on this one we're going to find the area of the rectangle on your note sheet. Okay, the rectangle is on there. Here I have to draw it. So I believe that this is going to be a 5y. And this is going to be a 3y. They want you to find the area of the rectangle. So area is length times width. This is my length. This is my width. So I'm going to multiply those. 5y times 3y. I get area is. Now I'm going to do what I did before. I'm going to use the commutative and associative properties. I'm going to do 5 times 3 and y times y. And I get 15 y squared. These don't have labels on them. If you want a label, you would put units squared. The next example here, it says evaluate the expression if m is -2. In class, we talked about how it's important to use parentheses when you substitute, especially when your variable is negative, or the value of your variable is negative. So in this one, I'm going to have 4 times, I'm going to substitute that -2 in, and then it is cubed. So now, according to the order of operations, there is nothing inside the parentheses I can do. There is an exponent though, so I got to do that. So I need to do -2 times -2 times -2, which is going to be a -8. And then I'm going to do 4 times -8 is -32. Now notice these two are the same. Okay, but the parentheses added around the 4m change the order of operations, so you need to be careful. So I'm going to substitute. I have the 4, I have the -2, then I have the parentheses, and then I'm going to cube it. So now I have to do inside the parentheses first. So I have to do this first, and I get -8. And then this exponent of 3 stays there. So then I have to do -8 times -8 times -8. Negative times a negative times a negative is a negative. And then 8 times 8 times 8 is going to be 512. So notice the difference between having the parentheses and not. It changes the order of operations, so make sure when you are substituting, you substitute carefully. Now, on these next ones, okay, we talked about these exact ones in class on Thursday. Okay, so just be careful when you're doing these. The parentheses, okay, are important. So this one on letter A, okay, means the opposite of 3 squared. So I'm going to have the opposite, and then I'm going to have 3 squared. So then I have the opposite of 3 times 3 is 9. On this next one, my print off here is messed up, so let's go ahead and rewrite that. I get negative 3 squared. So you have to be careful on this one. This time, like Fritz said on Thursday, the base of negative 3 is being squared. So I'm going to do negative 3 times negative 3, which is positive 9. On this one, make sure you use the order of operations. We want to do inside parentheses first. So I would do the 4 minus 3, or sorry, the 7 minus 3, and it would give us 4. I always keep the parentheses around just in case that number ends up being negative. I get the sign correct. 4 squared means 4 times 4, which is equal to 16. On the next one, once again, make sure you follow the order of operations. So by the order of operations, I need to do the exponent first. So 3 squared is 9. So I'm going to have 7 minus 9. 7 minus 9 is a negative 2. The last example here is the substitution. When we evaluate here, make sure when you substitute, you get parentheses around the negative. It will prevent mistakes with the signs when you use exponents. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute. I have 3 times r, so r is a 2, plus 2 times s is a negative 4. And then that whole value is squared. Now inside the parentheses is what I have to do first, and I have multiplication, so I'm going to multiply those. And I have 6 plus negative 8. Then inside the parentheses once again, I have to do that. I get negative 2. And then this is the importance of the parentheses. Remember from what we talked about earlier, when you have the parentheses, this really means negative 2 times negative 2, and you get a positive 4. If you missed what the assignment was from section 4.1 yesterday, the assignment is page 143 and 144. 2 through 48 evens.